And they would be like, what'd they get? And I said, they got 2.3 million. Can you believe it?
They can really make it powerful and increase their conversion rates.
And my first listing in Dallas was for $2 million. I love private sneak peek, neighbors only open houses. So that was one of my favorite strategies for farming to help other people reach their goals.
So we're here with the wonderful, incredibly talented, very smart Jessica Nelson. She's so great. We're so happy to be with her. She's already taught me a lot. And this is the first couple of days that we've even met in person. I've learned so much from her on social media, but I really want to ask a few questions that I think a lot of agents will really appreciate. And I would probably start with this. If you had to start over tomorrow with $1,000, no social media following, no book of business, anything like that, what would you do and how would you get back to where you're at now?
So I love this question, Josh, because this is like what happened to me. I was in an amazing relationship with a wonderful man, and he was the breadwinner, and he passed away. And unfortunately, the way that the will works, I wasn't in it. So I had to start over. So if I had to start over, I would do exactly today what I did in 2020. I would find a record-breaking sale in your neighborhood. So if you don't live in a nice neighborhood, find one that's close to you. If you're at EXP, look up EXP sales and find something that's like a really impressive stat, like highest price per square foot, biggest sale ever, whatever you can find. And you're gonna go and door knock all of the other homes around it, because door knocking is, you got feet, right? You got knuckles. You don't need a dialer for that, because dialers are expensive. All you need is like your feet and your hands. So I went and door knocked in a neighborhood where the highest sale was 2.3 million. And it was a big deal for that neighborhood. And I said, hey, I looked up the tax records. It said that their names were like whatever their names were. For camera's sake, we'll say like Bob and Sue. And I went to all the neighbors and I said, hey, did you know Bob and Sue Miller over there at 123 Banana Street? And they were like, yeah, I heard they sold their home. I said, do you want to know what they got for that house? Everybody wants to know.
Everyone's nosy.
Everyone's nosy. And they would be like, what'd they get? And I said, they got 2.3 million. Can you believe it? And they were like, what? Some of the neighbors were like, F you, move along. And like one of them was like, well, what do you think? You want to come look at my house? And there I was in my little Nikes and I was like, okay, I'll go take a look. And my first listing in Dallas was for $2 million. And I sold that listing for, I don't know, 1.95 or something like that. And I got it door knocking. And I made 2% because I wasn't a skilled agent and I was new and I didn't have a track record. But like, what's 2% of $2 million? It's $40,000. Like, would you turn down 40? So that's exactly what I would do, Josh. If I was starting over, I would have like a strategic plan. Long story short, I know it's a long story. I would have a strategic plan of like how to get good listings and just a very economical way of going to get them.
That's so helpful, and I really appreciate you sharing all of that, because I know that's going to help out a lot of people out there that are watching this video. I guess my second question, how do you sort of parlay that into maybe the business that you have now, which is very successful? There's a lot of agents underneath you. And then when do you turn that business into agent attraction? So two-part question.
Again, door knocking for me, because I couldn't afford a dialer. I had very limited funds. And before you get that $40,000 commission, you still got to go find others. So I did a lot of just listed door knocks, and a just listed door knock sounds like, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but we just listed this home 2 doors down. I can imagine that if you could pick your next neighbor, you'd want to do that, right? Yeah. So who do you know at church, Josh, or at work that said that they want to move and be your neighbor? Who do you know?
I think John and Sally are maybe wanting to be in this area, and we really like them. Why do you ask?
You know what, Josh? Thank you for being so kind to me. I definitely don't want you to move, because it seems like you guys just moved in, right?
Just about 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind, could you send John and Sally? We're having a private sneak peek, neighbors only open house. It's going to be catered, and we're going to have wine and cheese. If people don't drink, that's okay. I'm bringing in Aquapana, the finest water that could be bought. But do you think that they would want to come for a private sneak peek? They won't be competing with the public?
Yeah, I think they'd be really excited about that, especially if it's private, it's got some refreshments. I think they'd be interested in that.
Well, guess what? You're invited too. So I hope to see you guys Friday at 7, okay? I love private sneak peek, neighbors only open houses. And it's a reason to door knock because if you ever see no soliciting signs, if you're inviting someone to a party that you have paid for things for them, that is not soliciting. The actual definition of soliciting is asking someone for money for a service or a good. So if you're inviting someone to a party where you're offering something and not asking them for anything, you have done nothing wrong. All you have done is service the neighborhood. So that was one of my favorite strategies for farming. So if you want to make $100,000 in 90 days, door knock a neighborhood where the sales are $2 million. And those people are no different than you. They worked hard to get there. They've sacrificed a lot. They appreciate how hard you're working. And they're going to respect you for the fact that you're out there putting in the effort. They're tired of realtors who don't do anything. They're tired of realtors who spend all their time at parties and high heels. They want someone who works hard.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a really good answer. And it made me even think of another question for real estate agents that maybe they put together a free training. Because I put together a free webinar that I invite people who want to buy or sell a house. And it's specific to them, whether they want to invest, whether they want to sell, or whether they want to buy. What I found is that phone call or that door knock can be very easy, where if I'm calling them, I say something like, "Hey, this is Josh from eXp. I'll be really brief. I just wanted to invite you to a completely free webinar, and we're going to be teaching you how to get your next property at a 5% interest rate or lower. Would you want the details on that?" And that's what I found. It's just a simple invite, and we can invite them to the webinar. And during that webinar, we can talk about assumable loans. I mean, I'm sure you've probably heard of assumable loans before, but the general public, a lot of them haven't. So if you can cut their interest rate in half from what it would typically be for the market rate, I think that's a lot of value you can provide in two or three sentences. Would you probably agree? So what I think that's an amazing idea as far as door knocking and cold calling. I think if an agent is proactive and they create a free training presentation or maybe an invite to a webinar training presentation, they can really make it powerful and increase their conversion rates. For anybody that's curious, I actually help real estate agents with that exact thing. So I help them build their presentations, customize it to them, build out their funnel, their web, presentation, and completely systematize it. That way they can just feed traffic to that website. Again, maybe if you're doing it in person, you just print out a flyer with a QR code and give it to them and invite them to the webinar or invite them to your landing page. I'm not sure what your thoughts are, but that's just something that made me think when you said the door knocking.
So I have a bigger question for you. What if we were to do a training in Arizona together?
Then people would love it because it would be both of us. So of course, yeah, people would love it. That's exactly what would happen if we did a training in Arizona. I think Scottsdale would be pretty nice. I do want it catered because the spreads are just great. I love a good spread. I love the sandwiches. I love tacos. So that's the only way I would do it, is if we had good food.
If you would like to come and meet Josh Sayre and Jessica Melton at a prospecting clinic / training in Scottsdale, go ahead and click the link below so that you can join us at our next event.
I love that, Jessica. That's such a great idea. And then I'll parlay this into one final question for you. And that is, now that so let's say you've had some sales, you've started to build up your name in the market. When would you start sort of mentoring other agents or potentially bringing them into your organization? When would you start doing that? At what point in your kind of career would you think that's appropriate?
I started off with my daughter, Josh.
I saw she's good.
Thank you.
She's really good.
My daughters are so sweet, because they come with me to work all the time. They have no choice since I am a one-income household. And I learned that it was so fulfilling and exciting to help other people reach their goals. And that started in 2021 because I actually knew something and I could actually teach someone something. And ever since then, what I'm learning is that people who are hungry, people who want to change their life, you're an empty cup, and I'm going to pour everything into you. People who know everything and have a big ego and they always want to compete, I'm like, you win, babe. You won. You're better than me. I have no interest in competing. I'm very humble. But people who are I want to get better in my life and I want more results. I want more time. I want to be a better mother, a better father. I'm like, I'll give you all the secrets because it just helps you and we can grow together. It doesn't take away from me.
That is so helpful to a lot of agents out there that are either just getting started or maybe you've gotten a few sales and you want to take your business to the next level. I think if you're looking for a sign of like, what do I do or what direction do I go? I think it would be a great idea for them to message Jessica because she will definitely mentor you just as she's mentored me and helped me learning the social media game and learning how to do a lot of these things. So I think if you're curious, if you really want to take your business to the next level, I think this is your sign to do it. So DM either one of us or go to Jessica's profile. I think you'd be very pleased.
Thank you, Josh. You're amazing. I really enjoy everything that we're doing here at the Elite Builders. He's my teammate. We're in different markets. We're all a team. So we're all here to help you. Thank you, Josh. Tack,